Is Viva Pinata worth our time? We're about to find out. Welcome everyone to episode 199 of 1 Hour 1 Decision 1H1D. I am Chris.
And I am Tom.
And we take 60 minutes and play a random game on Xbox Game Pass and decide, well, Tom, are paper animals cute?
Yes.
I don't know. We'll find out about that. As we are going to be talking about Viva Pinata, who was developed by Rare Studios, and this game came out in November of 2006 on the Xbox 360.
Them's a lot of words for saying this game is old.
This is an old game, my friend. Old game. And I play this on the PC. And I gotta say, it was a whopping 0 gigabytes because I played it on xCloud Gaming, Tom. I streamed the game. Yeah.
Wow. There's a reason you were able to stream it and not install it. And that's even on the Series S. It is quite tiny.
Yeah.
It is 5.5 gigabytes.
Ooh.
So, like a full DVD.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's when we were dealing with, I think at that point we were starting to get the dual DVDs and stuff like that, and like the double-sided stuff. It was a crazy time. So yeah, 5.5 was back then would have been like, whoa, that's a lot to download, but not anymore. Not anymore when you've got Call of Duty with like over 100 gigabytes or something ridiculous. And it's like, that was just the installer. We need to install the actual game now. It's like, no thanks. Well, let's talk about this game, though. What kind of game is this, Tom?
So I put farm sim, and then I was like, should I also include that it's kind of casual? So like maybe casual farm sim?
I guess because we have played a farming simulator, and it was definitely not as casual as this game.
This is creature management.
Yeah, because I put paper garden management simulator.
Yeah, but I like that.
But like, yeah, you're tending to a garden, but you're kind of also tending to some animals that show up on there.
Yes. But you don't start with animals.
No. You start with, prior to that, let's talk about that game loop.
Well, I put spend your day maintaining a garden and attracting new animal residents.
Yeah.
Haha.
Yeah. I put make stuff to attract paper creatures who attract more creatures.
Yes. There is the loop. The creatures beget more creatures.
Yeah. And that was quite the circle of life, which we'll get into. As now let's get into what our likes are for this game. What you got, Tom?
Well, the first thing I enjoyed that each time a new one of these piñata animals showed up, it did like a little video clip to kind of introduce that creature to you.
Yeah, that was... Like you kind of each creature had its like moment in the game, which I thought was kind of cool. But I mean, just like overall, this game had a whimsical look and feel to it that I thought was just like it was refreshing. And again, a game that's aged pretty well, I would say.
I am shocked at how well this looks.
Yeah.
For its age.
Right.
So big kudos to them for picking a style and sticking with it and not trying to do faux realism because it would look terrible.
Yeah. I mean, and they've done this for some time, right? Like Rare's always had that kind of quirky, cartoony look to them on not everything. They've done GoldenEye and Perfect Dark and all that stuff too, but when they go for this kind of younger aged kind of game, they definitely try to stick to the as cartoony as possible. So this game ages very well. So good on them. Kudos to them. Rare. What else we got here? I like the fact that they have simple and advanced controls because again, they're kind of allowing people to cater to a younger audience, but also being like, okay, maybe some older folks want to give this a shot and the simple controls might be a little bit too simple. So it was nice that they gave that option. So I don't know if you would play around with both the controls or not, but I did.
I did not, but I have to say that I never felt annoyed or overwhelmed or whatever with the controls on the controller. Mm-hmm. And considering that it is a sim game and those can get very mouse and keyboard clicky, in general, management games kind of lean towards the PC.
Right.
I think everything's handled really well here on the controller. It's easy to pick up and play. It's easy to get absorbed in. It's cute. It's family friendly, as we discussed. I liked, there's a nice variety of creatures. And each of them has kind of different requirements in terms of how you get them to breed or to get them to attract them to the farm.
Right.
So there's depth here, even in this first hour.
Yeah. I mean, I like you almost have a checklist, right, on how to like keep that particular creature there. You get that information. And you have a companion. What was her name? Lefos. That kind of guides you through your entire experience here on Viva Pinata Land, I guess. I don't know. But you start off with basically a grid that is all ramshackled, just like you got to go and clean it up, and then from there you start to attract these creatures. And I just thought also it was like surprisingly deep in terms of like the mechanics and stuff like that, and they do kind of ease you into it, which I thought was a nice thing too. So
they definitely roll out the mechanics at a pace. One of the things that impressed me, talking about Lefos, right? Mm-hmm. The game's fully voice acted, and this is a game that's not yet new.
Yeah.
And there's tons of text and tons of stuff to kind of teach you.
Yeah.
And it's 100% voice acted. So
I was really surprised by that, because I was expecting, like banjo and all that stuff where it's just kind of Charlie Brown wah wah kind of noise where everyone kind of talks. And I was like, oh, okay. But no, I was like, wait, what? This is actually happening. And I was like, cool. Well done. Yeah, it was good.
I definitely thought it was going to be a, intro cutscene that's right. Cute. There's a dialogue there, and then just like you said, just switch right over to the wah 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 wah.
Yeah, I don't know if was that Chris Parnell that did the intro. I don't know, it sounded very similar to him, but I don't know if it was actually him. It probably wasn't, but I thought that was kind of interesting.
I am not sure, Chris.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
We could look it up. But tell us down in the comments.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. I do want to also point out a friend of the show, Disc Chimera, who runs a YouTube channel, Game Over Hell, actually suggested this game to us, and the surprise button also happened to fall on this. So here we go. We're talking about this. We're talking about likes. I also liked the fact that this game was just like gave you a lot of positive encouragement throughout your playthrough. I was like, okay, like, hey, nice job. You did this. You're like an amazing gardener. I'm like, all right, thank you so much for that. It was like really nice. And like, I mean, again, it's like it's just nice to. I know it's again catering to a younger audience, but like when you're a little bit older too. You don't get as much positive encouragement from people, so it's like it's just nice to get that from a video game. So
yeah, and that's probably also a little bit it's the sign of its time.
Yeah,
right.
Agreed.
People were nicer 20 years ago.
Yeah. Oh man.
Speaking of positive changes and comments, I liked how the creatures transitioned from being kind of like black and white to being full colored as they became residents.
Right.
There was like a moment where they like transition in color and like join your, become permanent residents of your little garden. I like that.
It was nice.
And I like the little romance dance.
Oh,
and the goofy humor of. I just thought it was the whole presentation is very like colorful and silly and goofy and family friendly.
It's that rare humor, right? Like they knew what they were doing with this stuff back then, and it was great. It was great to just kind of get absorbed in some of their quirkiness that they are known for. So
I concur.
Yeah. However, let's go into our dislikes. Let's get into our dislikes there, Tom.
Yeah. So while the actual game looked really good, when it did play one of those cutscenes, oh boy. Like those did not look good. And it's because that's not being rendered, on this nice new powerful system that I'm running. It's just some video that's, saved on the disk, on the virtual disk.
Yeah.
And those probably looked fine on a, CRT or whatever, but they do not look good today.
No. Yeah. They were like it was like ultra compressed. And like, they had to fit it all on that one DVD. So that's what it looked like. unfortunately.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I feel like they were using Comic Sans everywhere as a font. I was like, were they doing that on purpose? Just to be like, just another like rare kind of gotcha kind of thing. But I was like, what is going on? What's with the Comic Sans? It was weird.
Yeah. There were some choices that I think maybe looked all right, back then, but on a high def display, just don't plan out. I think the font is one of them.
Yeah.
The cutscenes, obviously, we talked about. I noticed, at least for me on the Series S, the colors in the menus were like super saturated.
Oh, okay.
Like to the point that they were like bright and kind of bled.
Oh, weird.
And again, I think it's probably some kind of holdover type thing from presenting it on a different interface, and it just doesn't translate as well.
Yeah. I know you're really into the whole love-making romance mini games, stuff like that. That was just a little weird to me, I will say, because the reason why I say that is you have your opportunity with so you start with the two worms that they get together, and then they have another kid, but then that kid can get into a relationship with the parents. Yeah, I'm like, what's going on here?
So I named all of my creatures.
Oh my God. Yeah. Okay.
To prevent that from happening, so I could keep track of them.
All right. Well, I didn't. I was just like, this is too weird. And I was like, all right, just let them go at it if they have to. But the other part of it is there's also a hunting system. So it was like, that's exactly that was one of the main reasons why I did not want to name them, because I was like, I do not want a connection at all with these animals, because what was it? The experiments. They need to eat the worms, and I'm like, oh God. So I had to I had to let go of Stewie, like the one character, the one worm I named was Stewie. I let his boo go with the bird, and I was like, sorry. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I can't name them.
You mentioned that you have the mechanic kind of a little bit later on where you can sell your animals.
Oh,
and it just feels very wrong to me. To me, I think about something like Pokemon.
Yeah.
And I think about imagine if I could sell the Pokemon that I caught.
Yeah.
And it just, I don't know. It just makes me not feel good.
Right.
And you can do that here. It's like, oh, you've got too many, so sell them to this lady or whatever. Right. And I'm like,
yeah.
Especially now that I've named them.
Right. It's like, it just, I don't know. It was like kind of dark in a way. It's like,
yeah.
I was like, what's going on here? And like, I'm trying to think of like how as a kid you're like, oh yeah, here I go. Here's my best friend, and I'm going to like let it get slaughtered by this other animal because I have to grow my garden. I'm like, I don't know.
I guess to be fair, I suppose if you lived on a farm as a child, you would deal with that.
This is true. Yeah.
But us city boys don't know any better.
No. But the one other thing, while the tutorial was great, it was just, I just felt like I was just getting constantly bombarded by that. I was bombarded by the intros to the characters or the creatures.
Yeah.
It was just all over the place. Like, so I just couldn't get into a nice like flow state because of that. And it's like, because it's a very peaceful game for the most part. Right. And it was just like, another interruption. And I just couldn't get really invested in that way, especially.
I was thinking as I was playing it, because I have that here too. Like I was constantly bombarded with notifications and events. The tutorial to me, I know it does teach you everything, but I kind of felt like it was almost too fast for the kind of game that they're trying to, right? If this is kind of a casual, easy peasy, slow and steady kind of game, the tutorial's too fast for that. Like it's like the tutorial you would expect from like an action platformer in a management style game. Like it's not that anything they're teaching you is too difficult to grasp.
Right.
It's just the pace at which it comes at you is much faster than I would anticipate for the style, for how casual the game feels.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. It was just a lot. I'm trying to imagine myself as a 7-8 year old trying to play this game, just be like, boom, 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 just bombarded with stuff. I was like, I'm just trying to play. I'm just trying to tend my garden. It's like, no.
I wonder if it could be us as 40-year-olds moving kind of too quickly. Whereas, right, like if you were 7 or 8, you probably wouldn't tee these things up so fast.
This is true. We do only have an hour and they have like infinite time.
Whereas we are probably used to the management game. So we're teeing up a lot of things all at once. And then, the game is like, oh, you did all those things. Here you go. It's firing them back at us at the pace that we're firing them off. So, if we did the things a little bit slower, maybe they would come back a bit slower. Fair. I'm not 100% sure.
Well, what I am 100% sure about is not being able to make straight edges when I was planting my grass. That was frustrating as heck to me.
Yeah, I could see that.
It was. I wish there was a way for me to lock a position and make that straight edge, because I was like, every time I'm like, oh no, I make like a slight adjustment and it was boom, it's off, and I'm like, I've started this all over again. It was just so frustrating. So frustrating. I don't know if you
as somebody who needs to line things up nice and neat in their life in general.
Yeah, I
hear you.
Yeah, it's like, come on. Give me like a snap grid, a snap 2 grid or something like that. That would have been great. Yeah. But it was not there. At least I didn't see that. So
I did not either.
There's that. Anything else here you wanted to talk about, Tom, in terms of dislikes?
Okay. So, and this is a pet peeve of mine just in general, and it's why I do not use subtitles when I am listening to something in my own native language.
Yeah.
And that is, I cannot stand when voice acting and the subtitle text don't match.
Right.
And that happens here, where every time the game said candy, I think the voice acting said a sweet.
Oh.
And I think that's like, the British way of saying candy.
Localization kind of thing. Someone went a little too crazy with that over here. Okay.
So I just don't like that. And so you will not see me doing like subtitles on an anime and watching it in dubbed at the same time, because those things won't match.
Yeah.
And that it drives me up the wall.
It's a dang shame. It's a dang shame. But all right. Yeah. Well, I got nothing here. I guess we can get to our other thoughts here.
Yeah, moving along.
Yeah, and I guess right off the bat, as I mentioned, this game is available on xCloud Gaming, so you can play this remotely. And How Long to Beat says this game takes about 18 hours to complete. I feel like it's a little too low, but I could be wrong. I don't know if 18 hours is I don't know if someone's speedrunning. If another 40-year-old was trying to just speedrun this game or something, but I feel like this game would probably be like closer to 25 hours or something like that. But
yeah, it does sound short for like a sim management style game.
Yeah. Yeah. What you got, Tom?
Okay, so I learned that this launched alongside an animated series. So I don't remember that from 20 some odd years ago or whatever it was, but apparently there's an animated series about Viva Pinatas. So I guess if you like the art style and the thing, there's a show you could watch.
Yeah.
I found out also that the desire for consistency in the art is how they landed at the piñatas, right? So it's like, we're going to make all these animal creatures, but how do we make them all look the same?
Yeah.
And so how you get them to look the same is the piñata. So you do all the animals as piñatas. Now they're stylized. Now they look good 20 years later.
Yeah.
And you have a consistent art style to your game. So I thought that was pretty cool. I also learned that it started as an idea for a mobile game, but then transitioned into a console title when Microsoft acquired Rare.
Of course.
So, Rare was, again, so long ago, right? Working on a mobile title, which must have been weird for Rare. And then it didn't end up even being a mobile title, just ended up right back on consoles because, Daddy Microsoft gobbled them up.
Yep. Make us a game. We need games on our console.
Speaking of games on the console, there are 2 sequels for Viva Pinata. But only Trouble in Paradise is the same kind of game. So there's a game that was released in between the 2, which is called Party Animals. And that is a mini game, like a Mario Party style game.
Okay.
So I guess leading into the animated series, leading into the idea that this could be like a franchise that they could launch into a whole bunch of other things. Like they made a mini game.
Okay.
It sounds cool or fine to me, but if you are playing the first game and then are like, I'll play Party Animals, that's the next one, you're going to be in for a shock when that plays completely different. So Trouble in Paradise is the true sequel to this one.
Well, read the label, folks. That's all you got to do, right?
Yeah.
But, all right, cool. So, Tom, we need to find out, are we keeping this game on our respective hard drives, or at least in my case, keeping it in my cloud gaming portfolio here? Or are we burying it in the dirt that this game needs to be in almost 20 years later?
Well, Chris, since it's so easy for you with 0 gigabytes, why don't you go first?
All right. Well, look, this game is adorable. The gameplay, I can see the appeal for it, but I don't know, management games like this are just not for me. So in that case, I'm just going to pass on this. But I'm glad I got to try it though.
Yeah, I'm in the same sort of boat. And I'll be honest that I feel like even after this first hour, I feel like I'm still very much in the tutorial. I don't know if that's true or not, but it's kind of annoying because I really wanted to get to, the game.
Yeah.
But it also means to me that the game probably has more to offer, right?
Yeah.
If I haven't felt like I've gotten out of the tutorial, I feel like I haven't learned the whole game yet.
Right.
And so that makes me curious. And I think curious enough to at least put another hour in and see if I can get through that and to the, the game proper. So I am going to keep it.
Wow. Okay. Interesting to know. And those are our thoughts. Let us know what you think of this game. Follow us and say hello. Well, those are our thoughts. Let us know what you think of this game. Follow us and say hello on Twitter or on Threads at TC1H1D. Shoot us an email at TC1H1D@outlook.com. Check out our next streams on Twitch, twitch.tv/1H1D. And hey, if you're watching this on YouTube, I apologize for coughing all the time, but this is that time of year, I guess, where this happens. So, but send us a comment down below. Tell us if we should try out the other games, or what's your favorite creature in Viva Pinata. That'd be nice to know. 1H1D is part of the QTP network, and if you like any great gaming content, check it all out at quitthebuild.com/network. Yes. I did it.
And that's it. 199 episodes, and you'll never see us again, right?
Never see us again. 199. No, we've got to get past. We've got to break through to episode 200, Tom. And the surprise me button is going to help us find out what we're playing next. So here we go. Oh, right. Well, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but it's a South Park game.
Okay.
It's a game, I guess, kind of with the superhero vibe. It's South Park, The Fractured But Whole.
I don't hear anything wrong with that at all, Chris.
I guess you're right. If you space it out in a way, I guess it's not too bad. But that's what episode 200 is going to be about. And I'm excited to learn more about that game. And I hope you might be too, Tom.
I am. Let's find out about those fractured buttholes.
That is it for this episode. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. And we will catch you on the next one.
Thanks, everybody.